The Milwaukee Bucks lose. The best team in the NBA is gone. The best record again in the NBA. The best defense, best offense.
And just were never right in the restart.
Kind of feel lost. Nobody's going to be happy.
I'm proud of the guys. They left everything they had. They played together, and we couldn't get it done tonight.
Hopefully we can build a culture in Milwaukee for many years that we can come out here and compete every single year for the championship.
It just sort of felt, fellas, after Giannis brushed Jimmy Butler in Game 2, where Butler hit those free throws with no time on the clock. Jay, nothing right happened. They lost Game 3. They won Game 4 without Giannis. They lose Game 5 without Giannis. That moment, that one moment, changed everything.
Coach Mike Budenholzer got out-wizarded by Eric Spoelstra the whole series. Key, you know, you've been doing radio for a longer time than I had. You know, last year when you talk about the new faces, you don't, okay, I already said it. You don't have to confirm it and triple down on it. All I'm saying is over the last couple years, as we talk about the new faces of the NBA, we've been talking about Giannis, he's coming. Giannis, even this year, just a reference for people, don't you remember where he took his two hands and he put them on top of his head like he was putting the crown on himself? Right? So if we knew what the game plan was going to be to stop Giannis in the playoffs, if you're Coach Mike Budenholzer, you've had the whole year to prepare for this. No, I know COVID, other things have came into it, but we knew this was going to be the case, yet Eric Spoelstra just outcoached him.
Fair enough, no question about it. But I would say that Giannis said everything right after the game. Check this out.
Hopefully we can learn from this and, get better as a team and come back and hopefully we can build a culture in Milwaukee that for many years that we can come out here and compete every single year for the championship.
Those last few words were the most important. Be here for the next several years to compete for championships. Is that going to tamp down any of the trade talk or leaving talk? Let's talk about it with Jen Lada, ESPN Radio in Milwaukee. She joins us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Okay, Jen, boots on the ground. I know your show is still to come here this morning, but I'm sure the social media reaction was fast and furious last night. What are the Bucks faithful saying to this premature exit?
Well, there is a frustration, certainly, and you guys know that fans' reactions is going to run the gamut. It's going to hit on every single spot on the spectrum. But I want to make sure that this gets out there. There is a sentiment that I saw from a number of Bucks fans reacting to the loss and their subsequent bounce from the bubble, that despite the outcome of what the Bucks did for social justice and the awareness and leveraging their position to get conversations with local government, that regardless of what happened, ultimately, that this was kind of a win. It was bigger than basketball. Now, obviously, you have people who think that it was a distraction, that they should have focused on basketball. Those fans are out there as well. But I think the sentiment I'm seeing, which actually surprised me last night, was that if all of that was a distraction that affected their mindset, that influenced them not being able to completely focus on basketball, that it was kind of worth it. Bud said last night after the game, and I know you guys heard it, that ideally your team is capable of doing both, and he believes that his team was capable of doing both. But he talked about being on the right side of history and the character of this group, and he said that, when it comes down to it, he would like to have guys who are character guys, and he thinks that they'll be remembered for what they did for social justice.
Jen, you're absolutely right. Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, names that we have to say their names and continue to remember. Getting back to the game for a second, what do you think is next for Coach Mike Budenholzer? How much does this loss fall on him?
Well, I think there is a lot of respect for Mike Budenholzer here in Milwaukee with the owners of the team, with the GM of the team. I think, again, there is a frustration, right? And this reputation kind of precedes Bud, that he is a kind of a stubborn coach who kind of is a we do what we do kind of guy. Right now what we do seems to be being bounced from the postseason prematurely, and that's not going to, win over any more fans. But I think that it's something that's tweakable, right? Like, yes, this is what has gotten Budenholzer to this point, but you have to evolve. And I believe that, the stubbornness, the extended minutes, the playoff rotation, et cetera, those are all things that they can say, okay, we've seen that doesn't work, right? Being stubborn to some of those things. So going forward, how can we evolve as a coach? I also think we're forgetting about the asterisk conversations that we had during all of the seeding games and leading into the NBA season. And it was, that this season was unprecedented, right? Because of its uniqueness, it's unorthodox, it's a bizarre season. Why would Bud's standards and any other coach who got his team in the bubble, who was able to exist in that very unique space, why wouldn't those circumstances be considered when talking about the future of the head coach as well? So I believe that the GM and the owners of the team are going to look at that and say, this is unprecedented, what this team and what these NBA teams went through, and that will be taken into consideration when they consider his future.
What's the future of Giannis? Is he going to be a Buck long term, or we're going to look at some sort of sign and trade situation?
Well, I think we heard Giannis, kind of show his commitment to the Bucks last night. Obviously, emotions are high right after a game, after a loss, after, the season comes to a dramatic end like that. I saw reporting that the Bucks have no interest in trading Giannis if he passes on signing that Supermax this offseason. I know you guys saw that as well. And I know that the question became his priority is winning. Can the Bucks do that ultimately? Can they put pieces around Giannis? The guys they have are getting older. So, you have to assume, as we always do, this iteration of this team is not going to be together. I think I saw that Williams already decided he's retiring this morning. But I talked to people inside the Bucks organization, guys, and this is the takeaway I had from that conversation. I have every reason to believe that loyalty will play a huge role in framing Giannis's decision about his future. I think there's an appreciation for the Bucks brass and the franchise guys going back that saw something in him when no one else did and made that commitment to him and his family. Obviously, nobody knows except Giannis and those closest to him what he is ultimately going to do. But given those conversations and that situation, I like Milwaukee's chances of keeping the MVP.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.